Imagine helping a friend escape from a controlling and abusive ex, and then discovering that even after all your support, he's still controlling her life from across the country. This is the story of one woman trying to protect her friend from manipulation, only to find herself exhausted, confused, and unsure how to even handle the situation. Our storyteller, 26, met her friend Bonnie a year ago through work. Bonnie, 24, had been in a 1.5-year relationship with her ex, Charles, a 25-year-old man who constantly demanded validation and financial support. Charles relied on Bonnie for everything: car payments, rent, groceries, and emotionally manipulated her. He'd guilt her into leaving social events or work early just to spend time with him, and he frequently threatened self-harm if she wasn't around. Bonnie often arrived at work drained, sometimes in tears, and the storyteller had to step in, offering support and even giving Bonnie a car ride home on days she couldn't. Bonnie eventually moved in with the storyteller to get away from Charles, who had been controlling and toxic. For a while, things seemed to be going well. Bonnie was making new friends, starting fresh, and the two were rebuilding her independence. But then things started creeping back in. Bonnie began receiving packages and food from Charles, claiming he owed her financially. That's when the storyteller realized the ex wasn't gone. He was reasserting influence. The situation escalated when Charles, along with his parents, drove 11 hours to show up unannounced at their home under the guise of a visit. Despite all this, the storyteller stayed patient and supportive. She understood that Bonnie's relationship with Charles wasn't just emotional. It was complicated by trauma, manipulation, and a sense of obligation. She tried removing reminders of Charles, like stickers and photos, to help Bonnie reclaim her space. Then came the breaking point. Bonnie checked herself into a mental health hospital to detox from medication that was causing suicidal thoughts. While handling logistics for a friend, the storyteller noticed that the reminders of Charles, stickers, a photo of Bonnie on his lap, and long Discord calls were back on Bonnie's computer. She hadn't snooped beyond what was visible, but the signs were clear. Bonnie was still entangled with her ex. The storyteller felt a mixture of exhaustion, confusion, and frustration. She wanted to protect her friend, enforce boundaries, and even tell Charles to stay away, but she knew it wasn't her place to intervene directly. She felt disrespected when Bonnie reinstated the very item she had painstakingly removed, yet she also recognized this wasn't about her. It was about Bonnie's struggle to reclaim independence from a manipulative ex. Every day, packages arrived, texts came in, and he occasionally appeared in their home uninvited. The storyteller felt her own sanity fraying while trying to support her friend, unsure of how to act without crossing boundaries or making things worse. The lesson here is about recognizing limits, both for the friend and for yourself. You can offer support, create safe spaces, and guide boundaries, but ultimately, change has to come from the person directly involved. In this case, the storyteller realized the best way to help Bonnie is to stay supportive without enabling contact with the abusive ex. Setting boundaries with Charles is okay. Direct contact from the storyteller can be limited or cut off entirely, but forcing Bonnie to disconnect before she's ready could backfire. The key is to protect oneself while continuing to offer emotional support, guidance, and safe space for her friend's recovery. It's a delicate balance between empathy and self-preservation. Being a friend doesn't mean enduring abuse on your own behalf. You can care and still set limits. Manipulation can extend far beyond the immediate relationship. Sometimes, even when a friend is physically away from an abuser, emotional ties can linger. The takeaway: help where you can, protect your boundaries, and know when to step back. Supporting someone doesn't mean sacrificing your own well-being. I never thought jealousy could feel so overwhelming. But here I was, 6 months into dating my boyfriend, and I couldn't stop thinking about his past relationship. I started wondering if every friendship he had might be a threat to what we were building. It's a story about trust, insecurity, and learning to separate reality from other people's opinions. I've been dating my boyfriend for 6 months. He's 17, I'm 16, and things were going better than any relationship I'd had before. He's caring, attentive, and makes me feel loved. But there was one problem. Before we started dating, he had been in a serious relationship with a girl I'll call M. At first, it didn't bother me. I understood that people can stay friends with their exes, and they genuinely seemed to get along. I didn't try to overthink it. But then, things started to change. His friends were shocked when they found out about us. M's current boyfriend even approached me, saying that they might still have a questioning relationship. Suddenly, I couldn't stop thinking that maybe there was something going on behind my back. I started distancing myself from his friend group, so I wouldn't see things that made me uncomfortable. Most of the information I had about his relationship with M wasn't from me. It was from outside sources. I never knew what to trust, even though I talked to him about it. And he reassured me repeatedly. The comfort didn't last. Every time someone else said something suspicious, my worries came flooding back. I started feeling uneasy not just about M, but about many of his female friendships. It started to consume me. I thought about M and him constantly. What if they were still connected in ways I didn't see? The more I worried, the more stressed I became. I realized I was letting my mind run wild, creating what-if scenarios that had no real evidence. I began questioning myself. Was I being dramatic? Was it normal to feel this way? Or was this just my own insecurities about past relationships taking over? I love my boyfriend. I could genuinely see myself marrying him one day, but these feelings were making me sick. Through all this, I learned that trust isn't just about what someone says. It's about what I choose to believe and how much weight I give outside opinions. I had to separate fact from rumor. Instead of listening to friends or his ex's current boyfriend, I focused on my own experiences and what I knew about him. Communication with him was crucial, but I also had to look inward. Why did certain interactions trigger my insecurities? How could I manage those feelings without letting them take over my relationship? The lesson I learned is simple but powerful. Trust is a choice. It doesn't mean ignoring red flags, but it does mean giving the person you love the benefit of the doubt and not letting outside commentary control your emotions. A healthy relationship thrives on transparency, respect, and supporting each other. Even when the past is messy, feeling jealous or insecure doesn't make you crazy. It makes you human. But recognizing when those feelings are harming you is what matters. I learned to focus on communication, trust, and separating truth from speculation. In the end, relationships grow strongest when you believe in each other, even when it's hard. I feel like I'm losing my mind sometimes. Every single time I bring up a concern to my husband, it turns into a game of, "You did it too." After 10 years together, I'm exhausted from the constant back and forth, and I can't tell if I'm overreacting or this is just the way it's going to be forever. I've been with my husband for a decade. We've built a life together, and in many ways, things are good. But there's this recurring pattern that has slowly been wearing me down. Whenever I bring up something that bothers me, anything from housework I wish he'd do, to spending too much time on his phone, to days when he doesn't seem to do much at all, it always ends the same way. Instead of listening, he immediately counters with, "Well, you've been doing the same thing." Apparently, I'm always at fault, just in a different way, and he just didn't want to argue about it until now. At first, I tried to shrug it off. I thought maybe he was just joking or trying to lighten the mood. But over the years, it became clear that this is a standard way of responding. Any time I express concern, it becomes tit for tat. There's no real discussion or solution, just pointing fingers back and forth. I've tried changing my approach. I've tried being calm, direct, even gently humorous. Nothing seems to work. I bring up something that matters to me, and within seconds, I'm being reminded of all the ways I supposedly do the same thing. It's exhausting. It makes me feel like my feelings don't matter. Sometimes it's small things, like forgetting to take out the trash or leaving dishes in the sink. Other times, it's bigger, like him disappearing into his phone for hours when I hope we could spend time together. And yet, the response is always the same. You do it too. It doesn't matter what the issue is. The pattern is consistent. I've tried asking him to just listen, to hear me out before comparing, but it rarely changes anything. And the longer this goes on, the more resentful I feel. I start doubting myself. Am I being too sensitive? Is it really that big of a deal? Or am I imagining frustration? The thing that really gets me is how this pattern has embedded itself into our relationship over a decade. 10 years of arguing in circles. 10 years of never really resolving conflict, because it always turns into a blame game. It's not just annoying. It's affecting how I feel about our partnership. Sometimes I catch myself avoiding bringing up concerns altogether. I bottle things up instead, just to avoid the inevitable response. But then, everything I've been holding comes out later, usually when I'm exhausted or emotional, and it blows up bigger than it should have. I feel like we're trapped in this endless loop where no one truly listens and no one really wins. And yet, I love him. I want this to work. But every day it feels like my feelings are minimized, and I'm stuck in a cycle of being both the complainer and the accused. I can't keep living like this, feeling like I'm crazy for wanting communication or consideration. What I've realized is that this isn't just about housework or phone time. It's about how we handle conflict and emotional communication. Relationships aren't just about sharing space or responsibilities. They're about being heard, validated, and respected. I'm learning that I need to set boundaries and express my needs in a way that doesn't get derailed by this automatic comparison. Maybe that means couples therapy, or maybe it means having a calm conversation where I explicitly state that this pattern is hurting me. The goal isn't to win an argument. It's to build a space where both of us feel understood. The lesson here is that patterns, even small ones, can silently erode a relationship over time. Communication is more than talking. It's about listening, validating, and taking action together. I'm hoping that by recognizing the cycle, I can break it before it causes more damage. After 10 years, I still believe in us. But I've learned that love alone isn't enough. Respect and healthy communication are just as critical. I'm taking small steps to speak up, stay calm, and seek solutions that actually work, not just arguments that go in circles. And maybe, just maybe, breaking this cycle will be the start of a stronger, healthier relationship.